Action, take two. Where was I? I'm going to bring you up to date from the last time I sat here in this chair. Flash forward a few years. Like all of us, we have millions of things that get thrown at us, positive and negative. Or is it really positive and negative? I don't even know if it's positive and negative. That seems so dogmatic. So last time I sat here, I didn't have cancer. This time I'm sitting here, I have cancer, which is strange because people look at me and they don't think that there's anything wrong. And often people say, how can you smile? You have cancer. And, well, I just decided that I'm not going to be the victim. And I decided that I'm going to be the hero of this story. And I decided that if you're going to get cancer, you might as well make it count. And I'm not defined by the cancer. And in fact, I've learned more about myself, my health, our medical industry, the FDA, the Drug Administration. I've learned so much. I've become an expert on my body and my health and a disease that I helped to create. So therefore, I can help to heal. And that's a really beautiful part because I feel we're all sick in so many ways. And it may not be cancer that somebody has, but they're sick in their heart or in their mind. They're angry, or worse, they have regret and shame. So the Buddhists say that if you have the ability to heal disease, especially a disease like cancer, you have the ability to have an entire enlightenment shift. You can completely rewrite like your self-manifesto. And definitely doing that and evolving. And I have a lot of thoughts about it, but something that's really important is time. Time becomes very surreal. Time becomes more precious. How much time do we waste? Buddha says, the trouble is you think you have time. And that really means a lot to me because it's no longer a quote that I would have on my fridge, but it's a quote that I live every single day. And it's hard to explain this to people. Maybe unless they've gone through something themselves where this sort of cliche of like all we have is the moment, but it's not a cliche, it's a truism. This is all we really have. They say living in the past and living in the future are delusions, or you just carry these stored memories, or you're using your imagination. So all you really have is this moment. So you have to take the opportunity to really seize it, carpe diem, and tell the people that you love them, and tell the people that you've hurt that you're sorry. And if somebody wants to make amends or they reach out to you, I feel it's so important. Anybody that reaches out to me, I'm there because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and I may never have the opportunity again. And it's that famous Thomas Merton quote, which my favorite, one of my favorite living authors and teachers, Carolyn Myss, talks about. And it has inspired her life. And it's this quote by the poet, and he said, "This day will never come again." And just to think and meditate on that, like this moment right now will never come again. And so to sit in it and to honor it and to be in gratitude and to be with people that get you on some levels. You know, our brothers and sisters, the ability to collaborate, to create, to love, and to be loved, you know. So that's all happening right now, in the now. And I thought about this year is the year of the monkey. Oh, by the way, right? I have my monkey chain. It's year of the monkey. It's actually year of the fire monkey, which means that if you have your eyes on the goal, if you have planned and organized and orchestrated, and you've got something going on this year or multiple projects, the fire monkey can Godspeed you to those things. And if you are unprepared, you will lose opportunities. If you're unprepared, there's so much that you could have done that you snooze, you lose, kid. One of those. So I'm thinking a lot about the monkey, and I'm thinking a lot about God speeding my way to all of the things I want to do. And then the paradox of being here now, right, and in the moment, and then I can't help but want to catapult myself into the future because I see these things and I'm not done yet. Like, my job isn't done, right? If we're still breathing, our mission is not over. And I see myself, and I use my imagination, and there's a memoir, and it's kind of set up in a trilogy. And I thought I wanted to save the world with it, but I'm not going to put that on my shoulders. That's a large burden to carry. But I feel if we're all creating and you can take every single moment to make something magical or extract just one little golden nugget from it, then that is living creatively and that is being authentic. And we don't have to be Obama or Oprah or Bernie. Go Bernie. To do great things, right? Because what is a great thing? I mean, isn't life like a million little snippets and a million little moments? Sitting here thinking about this very moment as I'm bringing closure to a really important chapter of my life, and with my grand love, which is New York City. And I have chosen to go on a small hiatus for personal reasons and health reasons. So I'm moving out of my apartment, which is very daunting and very emotional. And I look around at the 17th apartment that I've lived in New York City in 16 years. That's more than an apartment a year. Do the math. That's a lot of moving. But it's part of the charm of being a New Yorker. You're just this vagabond, you're a gypsy. But I look around and there's all this ephemera and there's all these memories and all these pictures and all these cocktail napkins scribbled on and numbers and business cards and photos and photocopies and tissues with lipstick marks on them and little blurbs. And I just look at this like grand archive of my loves and my struggles here. And it's not like saying goodbye, but it is turning the page, and it's bittersweet. And this is life. You know, it's bitter and it is sweet. But the polarities must exist, I feel. You need them both to appreciate, you know, just to appreciate the highs once you've been in these lows. But back to the apartment and back to closure and back to the paradox, right? Moving forward. And then the things we leave behind and then trying to stay in the moment. And it's all very daunting. And connecting to soul and being less in this sort of physical journey of the ego is, I feel, what this whole Cancer warrior journey has been about. It doesn't matter so much. In fact, it doesn't really matter really at all. I pretty much marched to the beat of my own drum. When I got here, I didn't know how to be in my own skin. I didn't know how to tap into my authentic self. I was a young girl. I didn't have much self-love or confidence. I just knew that I wanted to come to the city and create, and somehow the city would embrace me with open arms. As long as I just could create something and just make something, I would get by. And the years went by, and I did. And I'm on my second set of 9 lives because I've done so many different things, from selling flowers to walking dogs to babysitting to acting to modeling to working, every diner, club, bar, you name it. And then slowly, I don't know what happens. You can deteriorate and de-evolve, or you can rise to the occasion. And I suppose it's not about this reinventing of self. It's just basically discovering who you are, right? We're discovering who we are because we already are that. We've always been that. We've just forgotten. And we're all just trying to get home, really. So these days, my soul speaks louder. My ego doesn't like that. And I want to follow my soul's path, which is, if you really go deep, it is about shedding the body and the physical state. And in that freedom, you transfer over to the next dimension. I'm sober. Don't worry. It's like, where do thoughts come from? So these are deep thoughts, and I go there because I'm not a consumer, and I'm not asleep, and I'm very awake, and it hurts to be really awake, and it hurts to ask the big questions, and it hurts to be authentic and not be who other people want you to be, because it can be this lonely path. But then, like, there's these golden moments or these highlights, and you can't really describe them in words. And I suppose that's why we have art. That's why we have music. And emotions, right? Emotions are just words that aren't being said. These words don't do justice to the things we feel and the magic we see often. Anywho, my journey's been about healing together. I will be celebrating a year of life on February 27th, which is 5 days away. And a year ago, I was diagnosed. And I could have been diagnosed and gone in 4 weeks. But I'm having a birthday.
Could you hold that and say that second again?
Yes.
It's the street sweeper.
He's coming to say hello.
Because that's really perfect what you're saying.
So on February 27th, which is in 5 days, I'm going to be celebrating. I have a birthday and an anniversary, I suppose, together. Anniversary, 1 year of life since my diagnosis a year ago. And a birthday and an anniversary. What's the difference? Wait, I'm confused. On February 27th, that's 5 days away, I'm going to be celebrating my 1 year anniversary of life and my 1 year birthday of a new chapter in my book. I do think about how some people get a diagnosis and they're dead 4 weeks later, or 2 months later, or 3 months later. But clearly, my Creator wants me here, and That's a big deal. I mean, from being told that you can die if you don't do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, to coming up on a year of life, which just feels so surreal because it went by so fast, and at the same time, so much has transpired. It's so bizarre and wild to describe the feeling that I have of gratitude, and I wouldn't be here without this beautiful community of cosmic brothers and sisters who allowed me to be here, because this story really is about healing together. And when I was diagnosed, everything changed in my life. I had a relationship that came to an end. My financial situation was completely pulled out from under the rug. I mean, a lot of it is kind of this mind fuckery of survival, excuse my French, but that was all happening. So, no relationship, no money, wasn't prepared, was living with somebody, getting back on your feet, having to find shelter, wheels, all of those basic things. You feel like you're just right out of high school and you don't know what the hell you're going to do. And you're just like, but I'm an adult and I should have this, all pulled together, but I don't. And then slowly rebuilding or wanting to rebuild, and boom, cancer diagnosis. And it all was just too much too soon. And friends came and they said, we're going to help. And to give you the truncated version, they helped me shoot a video and do a GoFund page. And I had a benefit in California, and I had a benefit, here in New York City. And I still have these strangers that every once in a while donate to my GoFund page, and it hasn't even been active. I didn't even know it was still active. And there's this magic in all of these people coming together and people wanting to help. And this has been the best medicine in the world, just the ability to know that people care and they care about your life. And you're also not just fighting for your life, but you're the spokesperson for healing and for victory and for resilience and for the human, the story of the spirit. And my friend PJ said, you know what, Rai? He's like, in this whole time, I've never heard you complain one time. In this whole time, he's like, I've only ever heard you be like this cheerleader, like super positive. And I really thought about that, and it was really sweet for him to have acknowledged that. And I just thought it was too easy, to be down, and it's too easy to be a victim. And I needed to be the cheerleader, because that was going to be the tough job. That was going to be the courageous job, being a cheerleader. And not only for myself, but for other people around me, because people hear the word cancer, and there's so many people, that this disease is just so astronomical. I mean, it's just taking people down left and right. And I have all these feelings about that, but I can't go into it right now. But if you can be an inspiration and a cheerleader for something like an illness, but it goes beyond that, because it's really about your spirit, then I feel like I'm doing my job. I feel like God's using me and I'm using myself. So many thoughts. So many people to thank. So many people to thank. So many people to thank for helping me to live longer, for helping to save my life. Friends and family and strangers, people I have never met. To look at life with an attitude of abundance, and to look at everything that we do have and how our Creator and universe provides is so important. It's so easy to look at things, with a point of view of scarcity. And there's so much for us. There's enough to go around. There are enough women and men and love and career opportunities and projects and money and health. And, money is such a beautiful thing in the hands of the conscious, right? And there's such a weird taboo around money, I feel, but that's a whole other tangent. You've got issues if you don't have money. You've got issues if you do have money. Anywho, so I just want to, I want to thank my Creator. I want to thank my angel posse that's been watching over me. I want to thank my cosmic brother Jesus, Sister Mary, all the master saints, and all my sisters and brothers here walking the walk as we have this human experience. We all heal together. We all help each other. Life is beautiful. Life is amazing. And I'd rather be annoyingly positive than dark and negative.
So,
Amen.
could you say that one more time?
Yes.
I want to thank blah, 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 because this car went by. I'm trucking
Okay.
by. Just, if you could say that one more
Okay.
time, it'll be so cool.
Okay. So it's really important. I want to thank my Creator. I want to thank my universe. I want to thank my angel posse who watches over me all the time and gets headaches and migraines watching over me. I want to thank Brother Jesus and Sister Mary and all the Master Spirits watching over us. I want to thank my cosmic brothers and sisters here having this human experience with me. I couldn't have done it without you. And I'm going to continue to heal and to thrive. And to be annoyingly positive because I'd rather be happy and rainbows and butterflies and annoyingly positive than be negative and dark and a Debbie Downer. And so I'm still breathing, which means my mission is not over. Amen. Satnam. Year of the monkey. Yay!